Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. So we're going to go to the 11th rule, which is integrating simple fractions, okay? It is very important that you review previous videos, all the videos before coming to this rule, because all the previous rules is going to help you here while solving it, because I'm going to just introduce just one concept of basically breaking a compound fraction into simple partial fractions, okay? Before I proceed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also click the notification bell so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first person to know. Okay, let's get into this. So every compound fraction will have to be broken into simple partial fractions by dividing each of the numerator by the common denominator, so that you can do that. Then after that, you will then start integrating each of them. All right. So I'm going to start writing here so that for those that are taking notes, so that you know what I'm talking about. So what I said is that every compound fractions, all right, can be broken down can be broken down into simple partial fractions. Okay, by dividing each of the numerator by the common denominator. Okay, so every compound fraction can be broken down into simple partial fractions by dividing each of the numerator by the common denominator. So what I'm trying to say is, for instance, if you have a plus b divided by c, okay, you can break this down into a over c plus integral of b over c, all right? Or you can also say, if for instance you have a minus b minus d all over e, or you can put plus here if you want to make it interesting. So it's going to become integral of a over e, all right, minus integral of what? B over e, all right? Then plus, then you can have the integral of the other one, the integral of, so this is b over e, and the integral of d over e. All right, so this is how you can do this. So when you have a compound fraction, so you can break it down into the simpler fraction. Then after you've broken down into the simpler partial fractions, then you can now start to integrate. Let me write down the steps here when you're doing this. So here as well, you have 3 steps as well. So the first thing you do is that you have to break down the fractions into simple partial fractions by dividing each of the numerator by the denominator. So you have to then break down, okay, the fraction into simple partial fraction. By dividing each of the numerator okay, by the denominator. Then when you're done with that, the next thing that you have to then integrate each separately using the appropriate rule. Then you then integrate each separately. And number 3, we then add what? We then add C. Okay, so you break down the fractions into simple partial fractions by dividing each of the numerator by the denominator. Then you now integrate each separately using appropriate rule, and then you now add C to it. All right. So let me pick an example so that it will make more sense to us. Let's say we'll have let's have this example here so that we can explain what I'm trying to convey here. So we have 3x squared, all right, plus 2x divided by 5, and we should integrate this in respect to x. So the first thing you do, step 1, is that we have to break down this fraction into simple partial fractions by dividing each of the numerator by the denominator, right? So let's do this together now. So let's break this down. So step 1, okay? So step 1, we have to then break this. So it's gonna be, we're gonna have integral of 3x squared divided by 5 plus integral of what? 2x divided by what? 5. Then step 2, we then have to integrate this as normal, right? So we have to integrate each of them separately using the appropriate rule. So what we then have to do then is that we then have to solve this using each of the appropriate rule. So you can see in this case, we have a constant. So remember I told you one of the rules, you have to bring out the constant. So it's gonna be 3/5, the integral of x squared, plus we have another constant here, which is 2/5. We'll bring it out. So it's going to be 2/5, the integral of what? X. Then we can add the power rule to solve this. So it's going to be 3/5, okay, into bracket. X, this is going to be 2 plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1. So you add 1 to the power, divide by the new power, and 2/5. So you know that there's a 1 here, an invisible 1. So it's going to become x 1 plus 1 divided by what? 1 plus 1. Then the next thing is going to become 3/5, all right, into x raised to the power 3 divided by 3, okay, plus 2/5, and we have x raised to the power 2 divided by what? 2. Are you seeing this? So we can simplify this to be x raised to the power what? 3 divided by 5, because this 3, we cancel this 3, and this 2, we cancel this 2, and it's going to become x raised to the power 2 over what? 5. Then when we're done with that, what does step 3 say? Step 3 says you need to add c. And we are adding c here because it's an indefinite what? Integration. So step 3, so I can just say, and I can add step 3 here. So 2 and 3. So I'm going to just add what? C to this. And that will be the answer for that. Okay? All right. Let me add maybe 1 or 2 more examples, okay? So that we can have a very good grasp of what I'm trying to convey here. All right. So let's pick this example number 2. Let's say we have 1 plus 6x squared divided by 3x squared. All right, in respect to the x. All right, and we're told to solve this. Now, what do? So the same thing, Step one, like I said, we have to break this fraction into bits. So it's going to be integral of 1 over 3x squared plus integral of what? 6x squared over 3x squared. Are you seeing it? So then step two, we then have to integrate as normal. So as usual, I told you have to bring out the constant. So because we know 1 over 3x squared is the same thing as saying 1 over 3 times 1 over x squared. Are you seeing it? So that means the constant here is 1 over 3. So you can say this is the same thing as 1 over 3 into 1 over what? X squared plus 6 divided by 3 will give you 2, okay? So, or you can bring out this. So it's going to give us 6 over 3 into bracket x squared over x squared. All right. So now what we can do, we can convert each of these to index form. So this is the same thing as saying 1 over 3, the integral of x raised to the power minus 2. Are you seeing it? Plus, now 6 divided by 3 will give you 2, the integral of x2 divided by x2 is going to give you 1, or you can say x raised to the power 0, okay? So you can apply the law of indices here, which is a raised to the power m divided by a raised to the power n is equal to a raised to the power m minus n. We've talked about this earlier, okay? So you can go back to my videos on the laws of indices, so and apply this. So you can x raised to the power 2, we're going to give us x raised to the power 2 minus 2, which is x raised to the power 0, which is equal to 1. But for the sake of what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use x raised to the power 0, okay? All right, so let me clean this off. Okay. All right, so we have this. So the next thing is that we want to integrate this. So it's going to be 1 over 3 into x minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1. So remember, you add 1 to the power divided by the new power plus 2 into bracket x raised to the power 0 plus 1 divided by 0 plus 1. And when you do this, it's going to give us 1 over 3, okay, into bracket. Now it's going to be x minus 2 plus 1 will give you minus 1 all over minus 1 plus 2 into bracket x to the power to give you x into bracket x, because it's going to be 0 plus 1 will give you 1. Or let me just write it so everybody will be on the same page. It's going to give us x raised to the power 1 divided by 1, and that will give you that. So we can now open the bracket for this. So this is going to give us minus 1 over 3, all right, x raised to the power minus 1 plus 2x, all right? And step 3 is that we then have to what? Add c to this. So I'm going to just combine steps 2 and 3 together. So then you just add what? C, and this is going to be the answer for that, okay? Let me just throw in the last one for this for this rule. So let's assume we have 2t plus 3 divided by square root of t in respect to what? T. Okay, so step 1, the first thing we do is that we have to separate this. So it's going to be the integral of 2t over square root of t plus the integral of 3 divided by square root of what? T. All right. Then step 2, we then have to do this. So we bring out the constant and we convert each of them to index. So it's going to be 2 into bracket t divided by square root of t is the same thing as t raised to the power 1 over 2 plus, we bring out the 3, you integrate, and that'll be 1 over t raised to the power what? Half. All right? So I'm going to apply the laws of indices here. Okay, so for the first one, I told you that a raised power m divided by a raised power n is equal to a raised power m minus n, right? So that means t raised power 1 divided by t raised power half will be equal to t raised power 1 minus half, and that will give us t raised power what? Half. So I can also say that this is equal as 2, the integral of t raised power what? Half. Then plus 3, this is going to give us the integral of t minus half, okay? So I told you in the laws of indices, 1 over a raised power m is equal to a raised power minus m. So I've applied this, I've talked about this laws of indices with in details in the previous video series. So please go back to the channel, have a look, search for indices, and you see all the laws of indices there. Okay, all right. So, and that is that. So let's move on. Okay. So let's see. Right. So now we have this. So let's move on to the next one. So we then have to differentiate. So we differentiate by adding 1 to the power divided by the new power. So it's going to be 2 into brackets t raised to power half plus 1 divided by half plus 1. Okay. Plus 3 into brackets t raised to power minus half plus 1 divided by minus half plus 1. Are you seeing it? So that'll be 2 into bracket t 3 over 2 divided by 3 over 2 plus 3 into bracket t raised to power half plus 1 will give us half divided by what? Half. Okay? So in order to remove this fraction, we're going to flip this. So it's going to be 2 is going to go up. So it's going to be 2 into bracket 2 over 3 t 3 over 2. Okay, plus. So to remove this fraction, we flip it as well. 3 into bracket 2 divided by 1. Then t 1 over what? 2. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to open the bracket now. So it's going to be t times this, which is going to give us 4 over 3 t 3 over 2. Are you seeing it? Plus 3 times 2 will give us what? 6 t 1 over 2. Then on step 3, we then add what? C. So it's going to give us 4 over 3 t 3 over 2 plus 6t 1 over 2 plus c. And that will be the answer for what? For that. Okay? And that is how you do it. So please, you can go to the textbook and you can play around with other questions, and you can see how each of them are being solved. Okay? So basically, when you're having simple fractions, what you do, you just break down the fractions into smaller partial fractions or simpler partial fractions. And from there, you then know what solve. And that is that for that. So we're going to go to the next video, which is going to be rule 12 to 16. And like I said, make sure you have subscribed and you click the notification bell so that when I post new video, you will be the first person to know. All right. Thank you very much. So I'll see you in the next video. And please do not hesitate to ask me questions or send me an email and I'll respond to you. Okay. So see you soon.